Hey guys, I thought I'd do this before I get myself ready for work. I got a few minutes before I have to hop in the shower and get ready. But I wanted to come on here and give you my quick thoughts on Blood and Guts 2022, AEW's yearly, if not bi-yearly, or I guess you could say bi-yearly or something like that. Basically, it's an event that they hold once or twice a year. Which is their version of war. Well, basically, it's war games, is what it is, but it's more of a, I guess you could say, violent interpretation of war games. And I thought the match was good. Yes, it was probably one of the most violent out of the three Blood and Guts that they've had. Actually, I think they've only had two Blood and Guts matches so far. Let me check real quickly. Yeah, I think they've only had like one or two so far Blood and Guts matches. Let me see. I think they've had. Yeah, they've had two of them. Basically, yeah, this is the second one that they did this year. Yeah, it's the second one they did this year. But anyway, yeah, I thought this one was, more violent than last year's, especially since you got. Well, you have some familiar faces, but on opposite sides of the fence. I mean, Chris Jericho's now on the heel. Chris Jericho and Jake Hager on now the heel side of things, and on the other side you have, Santana Ortiz still on the babyface side, but this time they're joined by Moxley and Kingston and basically Claudio Castagnoli. And again, this match was violent. It was a great showing for Claudio, his making his Dynamite debut in the main event. It took up the whole second hour. It took up the whole second hour of the 2-hour broadcast, and really, lived up to its name, like I said, because when you compare the two events, basically this was probably. Again, like I said, this is probably the more violent out of the two. Because you had everything in here that you can think of, alongside kendo sticks and all that. You had thumbtacks, you had skewers, you had glass. I mean, you name it, you had it in there. And mostly everybody, except for, it looked like Claudio and Jericho, and maybe Hager, but they did say Hager was sliced open a little bit or cut open by Moxley with glass. So about 2 or 3 did not bleed. The rest did. I think. Well, actually, Wheeler Utah didn't bleed. He got blood on him, but he didn't bleed. And that was the other thing about this match. Even those that didn't bleed ended up getting the blood of others on them. And again, like I said, this match was crazy. It was violent. There was a scene where it looked like it was, who was it? It was Daddy Mac, if you will. Daddy Mac, as they call him. Was hanging on the outside. I don't know if that was Garcia. I don't think that was Garcia. I think that was one of the other 2.0 guys, I believe. I think that was one of the other 2.0 guys hanging, hanging on the outside, which was quite a scene. There's no doubt it was quite a scene. But yeah, one of the 2.0 guys. Again, I don't know if it was like I said, the Mark guy or the other guy. But one of them, I mean, both of them were bleeding, basically. Let's put it that way. Both of them were definitely bleeding right off the bat. when they got in there. But like I said, one of them was hanging on the outside of the cage. I don't know if he just slid through the crack, because there's a crack, in the middle of the cage where you can kind of slide out or something. So I don't know if he just slid out and he just got, basically hung up there and was beaten down by Santana. Oh, not Santana, but Ortiz. I don't know. But yeah, he was hanging up like this, and this is before I think Jericho. Yeah, I think this was before Jericho officially got outside of the cage or something. But anyway, yeah, you had that visual where it looked like he was just hung upside down. Someone described it in a live chat for just Alex as it looked like he was murdered by a serial killer, a victim of a serial killer, like in a horror movie. So, yeah, there was that visual. You had Sammy Guevara being, tossed off the cage and stuff by Eddie Kingston. It was just, it was just a very violent match that did live up to its name, more so than last year. And again, I think that, not only think, but I believe that really helped, really allow it to live up to its hype. Now, what they did here is they kind of also continued to tell the story of Eddie's distrust. Like, he kind of respects Claudio, but he doesn't totally trust him. Because, they had they had Jericho, because Eddie had Jericho in his submission, and Claudio had, I think it was the Daddy Mac guy, or the Mark guy, in submissions, and the Mark guy tapped to Claudio's. And Eddie just had this reaction like, wait a minute, what he was all like, what happened? And he turns around and sees the result, and he's like, he had this reaction that he wanted it. So I see two things happening, two stories being told here. One, he's not going to be done with Jericho until Jericho bleeds and is out of AEW, or at least, pays for what he's done. And two, they're building up tension between him and Claudio to where they're going to have a blow-off match. Like, I could see between Fight for the Fallen, Fyter Fest, and All Out, we're going to get a blow-off between Jericho and Kingston. Most likely at All Out, but if not, it'll be between either Fight for the Fallen or Fyter Fest. And then, if we don't get the blow-off at All Out, and like I said, it takes place between Fyter Fest and Fight for the Fallen, I can see Claudio and Eddie meeting at All Out one-on-one. Or I could see them meeting at Full Gear. That's what I see. That's what I see. But yeah, I thought the match definitely lived up to its hype. The one thing I do worry about it, though.
What time you have to catch a bus, Brian?
9:15.
Huh?
9:15.
I'm gonna go take my car too.
Sorry about that. I'm still awake. Anyway, like I said, the one thing I do worry about it is, basically, how is the Warner Brother Discovery executives going to react to what was showcased last night? That's what I worry about. That's what I worry about is, well, how are they going to react? Yes, it's going to get a lot of viewership on the product. There's no doubt. It's going to get a lot of viewership on the product, no doubt about that. But if ratings and numbers are, one of the more important core things that, they're going to look at, they're going to look at the fact that hour one probably won't do as good as hour 2, and they're going to expect 2 hours to be good. I mean, I'm not saying hour 1 won't be good, because people will tune in to see what AEW is offering before Blood and Guts. But, most of the time and everything's going to be in the second hour, with the viewership and stuff. So that'll be a positive for them, but again, they're going to probably expect all 2 hours to be at a high level, viewership-wise, ratingship-wise. And, what's the one? And, hopefully, it won't be too much of an issue. But what I do worry about is, like I said, how they're going to receive the match. And you got all these images, that one image that got one guy, hanging upside down and stuff. You got to wonder how receptive they're going to be to it. Is David Zaslav or Kathleen Finch going to talk to Tony Khan and say, hey, save this match for a pay-per-view or something? Or one of your Battle of the Belts shows, we'll put viewer discretion advised. But, don't have it on Dynamite anymore because, that sometimes it's not everybody's cup of tea. That's what I kind of worry about, that if they change that, Tony Khan might get, a call, and they might say, hey, you guys had a ratings hit with us and everything, but we also had complaints, or we also kind of felt that maybe you should save this match for a pay-per-view, or maybe one of your specials where we can put a viewer discussion advice on it. Whatever the case may be, I kind of worry that that's probably going to happen. Now, some might say that if they do suggest Blood and Guts go to pay-per-view, that might be a better thing than we can imagine. It might be a good thing, and it may be, because you get a little more leeway, or a lot more leeway on pay-per-view than you would on cable broadcast television. But it's we'll have to see what the reaction is when it's all said and done. We'll have to see what the reaction is. There might be no reaction, and they might be cool with it. They might want more Blood and Guts matches throughout the years, but again, we'll have to see. Maybe they'll want to have, maybe Kathleen Finch might say, hey, why don't you do the women and see what happens? And we might get that, but again, we'll have to see. Again, I might be just worrying about nothing, but this is the first one under the new Warner Bros. Discovery merger, so you have to be curious as to what the reaction is going to be and what they may or may not suggest, for the future of this matchup in the near future. Like where it should take place instead of just like on a special edition of Dynamite. I think maybe just give it its own pay-per-view under the name of Blood and Guts. Who knows? But yeah, besides that, I thought the event was good. I thought the match was good. Really lived up to its hype and its name. And that's all I can really say on it. That's all I can really say. So let me know what your thoughts are, guys. Comment below. Do you think that there will be any reaction by the WB Discovery execs, that maybe suggesting that the event get its own pay-per-view, or be safe for pay-per-view, or save for one of the Battle of the Belt specials where they can put a viewer discussion advice on it? Or do you think nothing will come of it and they might want more? Let me know what your thoughts are. Comment below, live chat during the premiere. Like the video, super thanks will be enabled after the video has premiered. Till then, guys, I gotta get myself ready for work. I am out.